Okay, let's move on to our next presenter. Paul, where is he?
He's behind him.
Have you presented before, Paul?
No, he hasn't.
No.
He hasn't. It's his first time. I thought I did recognise
I
him.
don't really look like I know what I'm doing now.
Don't worry about it, Paul. It's a great audience. They'll love you. So Paul is going to get a badge, an enamelled BK badge for his efforts. Because despite what it looks like, it's actually hard work putting these presentations together. The presenters make it look easy, but it's actually a bit of work. So we're very grateful for Paul to volunteer and put this together. And those who have been before to Bettakultcha know the form. We like to make all our presenters, especially if it's their first time, really welcome, really love. We want them to succeed. We want them to feel good afterwards. So we'll sort of make a big thing of getting Paul on stage, and we'll start with a ripple of applause in this end here of the audience. That's great. And we'll move it through to the middle and get some whooping and cheering. That's it. Mr. Paul Hopwood!
Wow, thank you very much indeed. Blimey, it's a long way up here. You all look like ants down there.
Are you ready, Paul?
I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah, let's do this. Right, good evening everyone. I am here this evening to talk about my academic studies into expertise and chess, that well-known combination, and to look at a cornerstone of both of those particular fields, which is the 10,000 hours to expertise theory. Now, in my experience, there seems to be quite a number of misconceptions about what this theory does and does not say. So my aim for this talk is to hopefully set the record straight and improve our collective knowledge and understanding of what the theory says. Now, the theory was first developed in the early 1990s by this man, who conducted interviews with violinists at the renowned Music Academy in West Berlin. And he interviewed 3 distinct groups of students. Those planning on training to become world-class soloists, those training to join world-class orchestras, and those training to become music teachers. And what he found was that the only difference between the 3 groups was the number of hours of training which they managed to clock up. Typically, the soloists had chalked up over 2,000 hours more than those training to be in orchestras, and over 6,000 hours more than those training to become music teachers. And from that point on, the hunt was on to see if this applied to other types of expertise. Now, the reason why chess has proved to be so fruitful is because there's a global chess rating system which makes pinpointing an individual's playing level very, very easy, and also because memory and pattern recognition, 2 very important parts of being a chess player, are generalizable to other areas of expertise. Furthermore, thanks to that rating system, it's very easy to demarcate between an expert, such as the current world #1 Magnus Carlsen, and the non-expert. So, what do chess experts have that non-experts don't? Well, in his seminal research, the group found that experts were much better at being able to memorize chess positions by being able to divide the position into chunks rather than individual pieces in order to make them easier to memorize. However, what they do not have is very high intelligence. Indeed, quite a number of studies have found no positive relationship whatsoever between a person's chess skill and their IQ. So if you do want to become a chess expert, what do you have to do? Well, the answer most certainly does not lie in simply going out there and doing as much practice as you possibly can. Indeed, what seems to be important is how you practice and not how long you practice for. And this has become known in the literature as deliberate practice. Now, this has 4 main components, which we're going to have a quick spin through. The first one is that the practice must neither be too easy nor too hard, thus to try and ensure a steady and incremental improvement in performance as possible. And there must also be a constant feedback loop between the trainees and any trainers. There must also be ample opportunity for repetition in order to gain the maximum benefit from the feedback, and also to have the greatest number of opportunities to be able to repair any errors in their performance. Now, one question that I get asked quite a lot is, can the theory explain child prodigies? And the answer to that is quite possibly. In the next slide coming up, we have a picture of the youngest grandmaster in history, Sergei Karyakin, who at the age of 12 years and 7 months became the youngest grandmaster in chess history. Now, Matthew Syed, in his wonderful book, bounce gives what I consider to be the complete answer to this question. And he looks at the example of one Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Now, he was composing his own music at the age of 5, and was also impressing members of the aristocracy with the virtuosity of his piano playing when he was 6. Now, given his tender years, it's quite understandable to think that maybe he was simply born with these skills. However, his father Leopold was a reasonable musician and accomplished musical coach, and he had engaged the young Wolfgang in such intensive training that by the age of 6 he'd already clocked up about 3,500 hours of deliberate practice. And when you compare him to those who've done exactly the same, Mozart looks exactly like what you would expect. So those who think that his talents were simply heaven sent are probably comparing him to his peer group, which I hope you now realise is the wrong comparison to make. Indeed, from all expertise research, there is no evidence to support the existence of the so-called talent gene. So there we are, nothing holding you back. Get out there, choose your field, be inspired and start chalking up those 10,000 hours. Thank you very much.
Paul Hopwood, ladies and gentlemen, that was fascinating, that was good.